This is Sleepwalker with Forbidden Magazine. I'm speaking with Bloodcurse of Neldoreth. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. I was looking forward with talking with you. You got a big show coming up Saturday with Trident and Neldoreth, and who else is going to be on that bill?
Evoken from New Jersey.
Okay, cool. And I saw something. Are you performing as a band, or is it just going to be you? What's up with the gig?
Yeah, it's just going to be me. Usually we perform live as a two-piece, but Daryl couldn't do the show due to some personal reasons. So I didn't feel like canceling because it's like you said, it's a big show. So I decided to do it solo. I've done it before. I don't really like doing it, but I'd rather do it solo than not play at all. So,
well, that's
gotta
good.
Get out there and do my thing.
That's awesome. See, a lot of people would just cancel and be like, "Well, fuck it" or whatever. That's cool that you're gonna go through. Are you just gonna like play to some tracks? Or are you gonna play some instruments? How are you gonna work it, man?
Well, usually what we do is when we do it as a two-piece, I do vocals. Daryl does the lead guitars, and he has all the rhythm, guitars, bass, and drums on an MP3 player. So what I do when I do it solo is I just add the lead guitars into the mix too. So, and then what I have is I put it on a CD, and they play the tracks over the PA, and just do it almost like a death metal karaoke.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. See, I've seen bands do that. They're like noise bands or like electronic bands where they'll play the tracks.
Right.
Do people give you shit about that? Do they tell you you're not being true enough or something? I mean, fuck the attitude, but have you ever got any shit from people about that?
No, actually, people are really cool. A lot of people tell me that they wouldn't be able to do it themselves. A lot of people tell me I have, really big balls for doing it like that.
Well, I agree, man.
I haven't heard anybody give me any shit. I mean, they might say it behind their backs. People like to talk shit about anything.
Yeah.
But nobody said anything negative about it to me personally.
Okay, well, that's good, man. That's real good because, like you said, it takes balls to let the show go on. That's the most important thing. The aesthetics
Right.
can, fuck the aesthetics. So, tell me about, now you got some other shows lined up to support your EP. Your EP is called Invert Christ. It's got, I think, 6 songs. What are you doing to support that?
Well, we did, back in March, we did a 4-date tour. We did New York, Cleveland, Chicago, and Milwaukee. And then in June, we did the East Coast. We went from New York all the way down to Florida. I have a couple local shows in my area. I'll probably end up doing them solo. And then in April, we're going back to Cleveland and Milwaukee. And I think we're also going to do Poughkeepsie, New York also. And we're talking about possibly doing some more extensive touring later next year, but nothing's really set in stone with that yet.
Okay, cool, man. That sounds real good that you stay busy. Now, when you guys perform, like you said, it's just usually the two of you, and then you play to some tracks and then go around like that?
Yeah.
Was there only 2 people working on the album? Was it just you and Daryl and then like a drum machine?
Yep. Yeah, Daryl did all the music. He used a drum program for the drums, and then I did all the vocals. Actually, the one song, Oath of Blasphemy, had a real drummer, a guy by the name of Drew Miller, who's a friend of Daryl's. He did the drums on that track, but the rest of them were all a drum program.
Okay, cool. Now, see, what caught me off guard is I didn't know that originally. And, I've been an engineer for a while, and listening to the album, it sounded really good. The drum programming was, like, top-notch. It wasn't what you'd expect from, it wasn't low fidelity or anything. It really hit hard, so.
Right. And actually, the funny thing is Daryl was complaining the whole time because he actually hates the program. He wants to actually upgrade to get a better one. So I'll tell him what you said. Maybe he'll change his mind and save some money and keep using that program.
Yeah, I've used a lot of them, and that one sounded pretty good, in my opinion. But, I wanted to ask you, I also saw something where you had an album that you shelved. I forget what it was called, but you weren't happy with something about the recording. compare your new recording in Vertkreis to the previous recording that didn't make a release or whatever.
Actually, we actually shelved a couple of the early releases because, like you said, I definitely wasn't happy with how they sounded. Comparing it to Invert Christ is a 200% difference. Back in the old days when we first started with the old lineup, we would just get together and jam and, record shit, and if it sounded good, we would, put it onto a CD. But with Daryl in the band now, we actually sit down and he writes stuff, and it's a lot different than how it was done in the past, and I think the sound, has improved 200% since then.
Okay, that's cool. Now, something else I was curious about, you've had these different relationships with musicians. What's the cause for not having a real consistent lineup or not having a live drummer?
Well, we've tried out people before. The area where I live in, it seems a lot of musicians aren't really dedicated. They just want to play, the same local bars for 20 years, and, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm not knocking that. But, Daryl and I, we might just want to be on the road and touring and, going all over the world, and a lot of these local guys just aren't into that. Some of them have, families or jobs or whatever.
Sure.
So, it's, even if they're just live help, they still have to be on the same page, or it's not going to work out. And we just haven't found anybody yet that is on the same page as us. So instead of sitting around, twiddling our thumbs, doing nothing, we do it as a two-piece. That way we can still get out there and get our music heard.
Awesome. That's good. You're making the most of your resources then.
Right. There's really no point, in my opinion, there's no point in recording if you're not going to get out there and support it, because nobody's really going to hear about it. You got to get out there and get your name out there if you want to sell albums.
Absolutely. Now, with that being said, with the different people you've worked with, I wanted to ask how the sound of Neldoreth has changed over the years. Not so much, we already talked about recording quality or whatnot, but how has your musical style changed? Have you went from, like more of a black sound to a death sound or a thrash sound, or has it stayed pretty consistent with what we're hearing today?
When we first started, we were actually real raw black metal, similar to like Dark Throne, Burzum, Gorgoroth, stuff like that. And then when Daryl joined the band, he brought more of an old school death metal sound with some thrash and a little bit of real hardcore mixed in. You don't really hear the hardcore as much. Some songs you can hear it a little bit in his playing, but yeah, it definitely changed over the years. I think Daryl's age had a lot to do with that, because the guys I had before were, all teenagers or people in their early 20s, where Daryl's in his late 30s. So, he is more familiar with the old school sound and stuff than with the newer black metal genres and all that, so.
Okay, well, with that also being said, continuing from that point, the new school and the old school, how do you feel about social media and extreme metal? Do you think that the internet is the new underground?
Well, the internet is useful for bands nowadays. Back in the 80s and early 90s, you had tape trading and, the magazines and all that to get your name out. Now anybody can form a band and, put it on MySpace and, be an internet sensation,
Right.
Definitely different nowadays. I know a lot of the bigger bands are complaining about the internet, because I know it's hurting record sales, but it's kind of a double-edged sword, it's helpful to get your name out there, but, a lot of these people that download have to realize that, you have to actually support the bands too, whether it's going to see them live, buying their CDs, buying their shirts, whatever. So, it's kind of a positive and a negative aspect to it,
Right. Yeah, that's always, one of those 50-50 things, and
right.
It's good. It's great exposure for some bands. So something else I was going to ask you, I'm going to name a couple things. I'm going to give you like two choices, and then you pick one and tell me which one you like more.
Okay.
Just first thing that pops into your head.
All right.
All right, black metal or death metal?
Death metal.
Mayhem or Burzum?
Mayhem.
Chris Barnes or Corpse Grinder?
Old Chris Barnes.
Beethoven or Mozart?
I like them both, but I'd say Beethoven.
Okay, and Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Okay, gotcha. So you told me something earlier when we were talking about a DVD release that was going to come out this year, and is that going to be put off? Is that still coming out? What's up with that?
Yeah, it's just postponed. We a lot of the footage we had for it was kind of crappy, so we're just gonna keep recording on the next tour and all that, and it's just postponed till hopefully maybe sometime next year. It's not right now. It's not really high on our priority list. We want to work on the next album and all that, so that's coming first, and then in time we would like to put the DVD out.
Sure.
Just not sure when right now.
Is that now? Do you got some videos on YouTube?
Yeah.
Is that what was going to make some of that? I saw there was some on there. I didn't get a chance to really watch any.
Well, what I do is when we go on tour, I bring my video camera and I record every show that we play, and then when we get back, we watch through it and pick out what we want to use for possible DVD releases. I'll upload certain songs from certain shows on YouTube and all that, to let people see what we're doing and, get the name out there that way too.
Are you working on, have you already started writing like your new album?
Yeah, Daryl started writing it. He has almost one song done. The next one's going to be a full length, so we're shooting for probably anywhere from like 45 minutes to an hour worth of new material. And then he should hopefully have a few new tracks for us to play when we go on tour next year. Hoping. depends on how much he gets done. Daryl's really particular when he writes stuff. This EP we put out this year, In Ver Christ, took us 2 years to write and record, the 4 originals. So, it all depends on how soon he comes up with stuff. So, I mean, right now I can't really speculate when it's gonna be out. But hopefully next year, early 2012, we'll have something new out.
Okay, cool, man. Well, I know there's a lot of people that'll be looking forward to it. I enjoy the EP quite a bit. Is it gonna have all like new songs? Or are you gonna include some of your old stuff?
It's gonna be all new stuff. We're talking about maybe re-recording an old song from one of the old demos, but that's not set in stone right now. We just want to focus on writing new stuff. So maybe there'll be another, one of the old songs reworked, but we'll see what happens in the future with that.
Okay, man. Well, the last words are yours. I want to thank you for your time.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, bro.
Okay, man. I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.